right, welcome to BSN for Pros to the Pros. What is happening? What is going on? Today, I have the pleasure to present to you, or you guys get to meet, we've done this before, but with my friend. I would say he's a friend. He's a confidant. He is, we're always growing and learning together. There's things that I've had challenges with, and I've called Ben, and Ben's called me, vice versa. So let me introduce you to Benjamin DelGrosso. Hello, everyone. Let me give you a little clap there, my friend, if anyone can. There you go.
Nice.
You hear the crowd?
The crowd, they're going wild.
They're going wild, bro. Hey, maybe have a horn. They'll be like, yeah, let's do it. All right, my friend, what's going on with you? How's everything going for you?
Well, I guess this episode's all about the Benjamins, right?
Yeah, I like it's Benjamin and Benjamin. So I like the way you spell your name too.
It looks similar to yours. I'm not sure.
No, you have it spelled differently on your Facebook.
Well, yeah, because I do Benjamin because a whole bunch of people used to call me Benjamin. They just thought it was cool. I don't know. I guess Facebook didn't red flag it. They don't care.
Not yet. They haven't done it yet. They flagged me on it, so that's why I changed it.
Facebook. Oh, that's because of I got the blue check mark on Facebook now.
Do you really?
No, I don't.
Once you get the blue check mark, I think you can pretty much name yourself whatever you want.
Yeah, Bob's your uncle.
Yeah. So what's going on? So let's tell me about a little bit about yourself, Ben. Get the crowd going. People don't know. Who are you? What do you do? What's going on with you?
Yeah, no. So, well, basically I have a business. I'm an entrepreneur for 2.5 years. And I made the mistake that every other entrepreneur typically makes. A lot of times when they go and start a business, they're not fully committed to their business, right? They have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So they're thinking, hey, you know what? I can work this job and I can work this other job and I'll just do this like on weekends, or I'll just do this at night, or I'll just do this, occasionally here or there. So, when I started, I was, the first year I applied for jobs everywhere. I think I applied for 50 jobs and multiple job interviews. I was only halfway in. I didn't have full belief in myself. I felt that, I was going to fail. I probably wasn't cut out for this, even though everything I did was running other people's businesses, making other people's businesses profitable. I'd been in a position where I've managed, profit and loss, net profit reports, managed people, but you still have that doubt. And everybody, when you start as an entrepreneur, you have that doubt of, can I figure it out? Am I going to be successful? And I can tell you, once the first year ended and I finally decided I was going all in on the business, like all in on everything, working full time, being fully committed to business, not applying for jobs anymore. That's when the business started to take off. That's when the customer service started to go to a next level as well.
So I don't want to interrupt you, Ben, but I want to go back because I want to have a conversation, and I want people if they watch this live, make sure in the comment below, guys. Make sure in the comment below you guys say hello, say hi to Ben. You send him a friend request. You find him on YouTube, whatever. This guy has a lot of value, and one of the things Ben was talking about is, the idea of being an entrepreneur and like working full time, right? Like there's this idea where people sell you this idea of saying, oh, you can only do it 10 hours, 15 hours a week, and you're gonna there's a point where maybe you can do research, you're kind of doing some marketing, but when is the point where you're like, hey, like I'm ready to do this full time, I'm ready to go all in? Like where is your mind at with that? Because you have a family, man. You have a family, you have kids, you have responsibilities, you have duties. And if you're like a single person, you don't have an excuse. You can do whatever you want. I wish I would have been told this many years ago. But you have duties in life. You have responsibilities.
Oh, so yeah, I don't know.
How do you jump to the next step, man? Because you're already you went from like this, bam, I'm already, look at you, you're already running your operation, you're doing well. But where do you like all of a sudden, how do you find that courage, man?
So I'm not saying that you need to quit everything and not have zero income, right? Because I mean, if you got a mortgage, you have kids, you need to provide, right? You still need to have some sort of job. I mean, even some of these guys who are billionaires talk about how they'd have a job where they'd be stocking shelves from 11 p.m. at night till 6 in the morning. They'd sleep 3 hours and then boom, go to work for their entrepreneur dream to work, right? So you need to do what you need to do. But if you're not all in to committing to your dream or your journey, then you're never going to be all in. You're never going to end up being successful. And that was the big thing that I learned in the first year, because if I was all in on the first year, I would probably have employees right now. I would probably be at another level with the business. I mean, that is kind of what you're asking me, right, Benjamin?
Yeah, I am, and I think there's like, I don't want to say regrets, but there's things that we're like, oh, we should have done it this way, we could have gone that way, and what was the main emotion that was holding you back from
And
going all in? Like what
well,
was
the
holding you?
first year where I did a lot of stuff wrong. I did a lot of stuff wrong the first year.
Mhm.
And because even stuff where I wasn't, I talk about having values, but I
Mhm.
didn't actually create company values, right? So when I like implemented the values into the business after a year and started following everything with the values of the business, when I started going from a transactional business to a customer experience business, everything changed as well. So the first year, all I was doing was chasing the money, chasing the money, chasing the money. And because I was chasing the money, that's why the business wasn't successful as well. A lot of people, they're all worried about, getting rich quick, or, oh, the guy bought $1,000 from me. Okay, see you later. They don't really care. There's no after sales service. They're not worried about, they're not focused on developing a relationship, right? Because the whole thing is like, let's say you're real estate. I'll just use that. A lot of people, everyone
Yeah,
knows a real estate agent,
sure.
and you sell a house. Well, if you sell that house and you develop a relationship with them, you take care of them, you give them like after sales service. Let's say, for instance, when I bought a few houses over the years, um, the real estate agent, once the sale was done, he would come to the house and he would bring us the keys, right? He would go into the house with us. We'd walk the house to make sure that the old people who owned the house prior didn't wreck it when they moved out. There wasn't any challenges. The other thing they would do is they actually called a locksmith, and within 24 hours there was a locksmith there redoing the locks on the house. That way I got brand new keys, I got brand new fresh locks, and I didn't have to worry about somebody who used to live in the house prior having keys to that house and possibly coming into our house. So this was kind of part of that after sales service. A lot of people are, it's like, and to kind of here's another example. Sorry to kind of jump around here. When we moved to Ontario, when we bought a house, this salesman was like, every single question we had, he was bam, 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 helping us out with everything for buying a house. He was so committed. If we emailed him at 1 in the morning, he was emailing us back at 1:05, right? Absolutely awesome. Then we bought the house, and he said, we want you to use this lawyer. And this lawyer is like a 45-minute drive from our house. And we're thinking like, okay, whatever. We don't care. We'll use that lawyer. Well, the way it works in that province, and what nobody told us, is the lawyer is the one who has the keys. So when we finished everything up, we had to drive 45 minutes to get our keys because he didn't even bring the keys to us. Literally, the sale was done and there was no more communication. There was no thank you for buying the house for me. There was no, hey, how about I pick up those keys and bring them to you to help you out, which he actually can do. There was no after sales service. There was
Yeah,
nobody
I
trying.
think
I
that's
will never
happening now,
recommend
bro.
him
I think
again
that's
in the
happening
future,
now.
right?
That's the world we live in. Unfortunately, it's so transactional now, uh, that that person doesn't want to hold, like, be responsible and their accountability, right? It's like it's almost like they think they're doing you a favor, like just by talking to you,
Oh
and
yeah.
you're like, dude, like I just like you had a that to me that's awful. To you, you have to go get your own keys. Um, the key should have been delivered to you. Like,
Oh
if you're a
man.
realtor and you're watching this video, like, let me know. Like, do you think that's cool or not cool? I don't know. don't think that's cool. And it's a matter of sometimes it's a matter of just conversation or communication. Maybe the realtor had problems or issues happening. Maybe the car broke down, family things. You never know. But at least call and say, "Hey, Benjamin, like I'm stuck. Like I want to get you the keys, but I'm here. This is where the lawyer's at." And you probably would have been like, "Sure, I understand," because I'm sure your wife wants to get into the house as soon as possible.
Oh yeah.
You're like, tell your wife, "Hey, like the realtor, the babysitter, like their babysitter, so they're gonna get me the keys, whatever." Just talk to the person, and most people are understandable if you with their life issues, but if you just chop them off, I think that's horrible, man. That's horrible. That's horrible.
So let's talk. I got another example here because obviously, what I don't know, Benjamin didn't say. I actually host a podcast called.
Yeah, you have your own podcast. Sorry, man. He's got a podcast.
Yeah.
He's got a really good podcast. Go.
Focus on customer experience. So, I bought a car once, maybe a few times. Bought a car. Show up. They go. He says to me, he goes, "You got an hour set aside." He told me, "You better make sure you have an hour set aside when you come here." So, okay. And I'm thinking, like, an hour for a car delivery. They're obviously going to try and sell me extended warranty or something else, right? Nope. All the paperwork was signed. He got there. This guy literally went over every single option. Here's how the rear windshield wiper works. Here's how the front one works. This is how much liquid you need to fill up the windshield washer fluid reservoir. This is where this goes. I learned so much stuff about the car, stuff that I never would have learned. I would have definitely had to read the book. But he went above and beyond because that's how he delivers his vehicles, because he wants to be remembered as somebody who does care and goes the extra mile. Top of that, we wanted to buy from him again. We actually wanted to get a Pontiac Montana minivan, but they discontinued it and we wanted a new one, not a used one. So we decided, let's venture to another dealership, a dealership that flukishly I did business with in the retail world. We went there. I had my wife pick up. She wanted a Dodge Journey. We ended up going there, and the guy says, "Yeah, your husband knows a lot about cars. Here's the keys." And that's it. They kicked her out. That's it.
Wow.
And I didn't even know that happened. What ended up happening was they called me, like dealerships do that whole thing, 3 days after, like, "Hey, we're calling about your experience." And I gave the phone here, give it to my wife. She's the one. She goes, one. Yeah. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what happened? And she's like, well, yeah. And then the Bluetooth didn't work. And then he told me, yeah, well, that's an upgraded option. I'm like, but it's got the Bluetooth button on the radio.
Yeah.
Well, I'm like, so you should have told him you're not taking the vehicle.
I think sometimes those people, I swear to you, like, they're just trying to brush you off. It's like a brush off. They're like trying to make you seem like you're like dumb. Like, "Oh, it's an upgraded. It's an upgraded option." Like, what do you mean? I know the Bluetooth button's right there. It's like, how can you?
Let's get the one that has it. Seriously, anyway. So, but this is all part of people right now. They're talking recession, all this other stuff going on right now. Well, how are you going to stand out right now? How are you going to, be above? How are you going to make people want to keep coming back to you? What are you doing to make it so that you're not just the same as everybody else?
No, I agree, man. I agree.
Yeah, man.
But here's the thing, man, and I'm going to tell you this right now. There's the same thing happened to my wife at a pharmacy. I think I told you the story. The same thing happened. Very similar, like just bad experience. And the problem is the masses keep going to those places. The masses keep going to those places where they're gonna get bad experience. They're gonna have to wait in line. You're getting conditioned to be treated like crap, and that's what's happening. And there's a certain amount of people that are like, "Hey, that's not how I want to do business. That's not how I want to operate in my life. That's not how I want to my time is valuable." So like my wife, like she had this whole experience, and she just transferred the whole prescriptions to a smaller base pharmacy that really they called. She's had a great experience there, and granted their hours are limited, and granted there's certain things, but the point is that she was so fed up with the mainstream pharmacy one that she was like, "Nope, I'm not going to I just can't do it anymore. I can't wait in line. Every time I go there, there's an issue, whatever." and I go, yeah, that's the world that's work. That's what they're trying to do, is condition people to be treated like crap, to wait in long lines, and to to they're not, you're no your person has no value. I truly think that. And there's a pocket full of people that are waking up and saying, no, you know what, I'm not going to do that. And this is where there's a really big division, man. There's a big division in
So
mindset.
I'm part of a networking group, right, which is the Arate Syndicate. And the whole point, one of the big things that they always land is they believe entrepreneurs can change the culture of the world, right? If you have proper mission, vision, and values, and you take care of all of your staff, and your staff end up going home and taking care of their family takes care of the whole community,
No,
you can actually make a ripple. But these bigger companies are not running typically on with a proper mission, vision, values. They're
they
working on the
don't.
transaction. It's all about, well, if I give them $15.05 an hour instead of 15.10, I'm saving 5 cents an hour, which will save the company this amount of money, right? And they're working on the transaction and the expenses instead of looking at, if we gave this person the proper raise, let's call it the 15.25, I don't know, 25-cent yearly raise. I don't know,
Yeah.
I'm just making shit up here. You know, maybe they're going to stick around for the next 4 or 5 years because they're seeing that we're taking care of them, that we're helping them out through this inflation crisis. We're helping them out, and they've already been here. We were not going to have to spend thousands upon thousands of dollars bringing in a new employee and training them, right? But companies are not looking at, a lot of companies are looking at everything as a transaction. Well, I
Yeah,
could hire somebody for
your employment
$12 an hour instead of
your
15.
employment
So
is transactional. Your employment is transactional.
yeah,
You're just a number, and they're not there to help you grow. And this is why you get treated like crap in many of these places, because no one is correcting those people. There's no one's going on and saying, hey, you know what? And I'll use you as Benjamin. Hey, Benjamin. Hey, you know what? When you spoke to that lady, it was, from my perspective, it was a little rough, because it was a little bit. Let's try, try to smile, or maybe no, they don't teach that, because what happens is the employee be all sensitive, right? They're gonna be like, then my manager told me, my feelings were bad, my feelings were hurt, or I can't believe this person. There's no developing the employee to give better service, to talking to people, to when you go to a self checkout, what is there? Just someone just standing there looking at you and like just staring at you, and you're like, she's like, no one's helping you, right? They're not like thanking you, or no one's. It's just like you're out the door, and the only time you walk out the door is because they're checking your receipt, like if you're like making sure that you didn't steal anything. There's they're allowing this culture to develop. I'm seeing it, man. We're seeing it every single day, and you're right, man. I totally agree that if imagine like Walmart. Imagine if like Walmart. I'm sorry, what did I say it? Imagine these big companies such as Walmart and all these other ones were doing exactly what you're talking about, Ben, and
so
employees. Like
I got another thing. So I just had this guy on my podcast recently. It hasn't aired yet. It's going to air in December. However, something that he brought up to me is there's this big company that they were working with,
yeah,
and he asked them, how much does it cost with your employee turnover and everything every year? And they said it costs us about $7 million with employee turnover, training new employees, firing employees, if you pat, all that kind of stuff, right? He goes, what if we could take that 7 million and turn it into 3.5 million, and we only charged you 1/10 of the difference, right? Would that be worth it to you? So instead of you losing an additional 3.5 million, we charge you 350,000. We come in and we help you with your mission, vision, values, your culture. We help you with how to properly train and onboard staff to bring you to another level so you have less employee turnover. Would that be worth it? Because you got to remember, you're talking to these big companies on a transactional level.
yeah,
And he says sometimes people say no, and we go, okay, I guess we're not a fit, right? But the thing is what they're trying to do is help them have less employee turnover, and then they'll have a stronger culture
yeah,
inside.
yeah. These that's I think that's a great They need more. We need more companies like that in the world. Like,
It sounds
yeah,
cool. Like this guy worked for Intel,
yeah,
big company, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
and it was all about, like he was even talking about how a lot of people are scared to teach people underneath them how to do their job. And the
Hmm.
reason why they're scared to do that is because they feel that then they're going to get replaced. He says, but the problem is what they don't understand is by you developing these people and making them successful, making it so they can take your job, makes it so that you get promoted within the company,
Hmm.
and they're going to keep you around because they already seen that you developed, let's call it 10 people to be really good superstars.
You know.
And now we're going to bring you up to the next level.
Hmm.
Now you're going to be senior manager. Well,
Yeah.
now we want you to we want you to train 10 managers underneath you so
Hmm.
that at least one of them can replace you.
Hmm.
And that's the whole part of it. They want people who are successful, that understand the culture, that are actually going to do proper training and developing.
Yeah. And you know what's cool about that idea too, of that same, is that let's say you train 10 and 5 leave, and you've built this machine in your company where you're always you know how to train people to get to become superstars and rock stars. And a lot of people, I know, I've worked for these companies, they'll come back and work for you because there's always another opportunity. They'll like, oh, and then they're like, I tested, and they come back and learn, and they come back to the company and they're like, oh, you know what, like I learned, but I really love working for this company. I want to stay because they respect that the mission value, and they just their careers accelerate. I've seen it many times in my years where they just pop up. So, Ben, I want to talk to you about your social media, man, because you're killing it on social media. You got the YouTube podcast. Um, what else? You got your LinkedIn. You're doing a lot of the videos. Where are all your channels at? Where are you really focusing on?
So, like right now, I focus 100% on YouTube. So, I'm still a small guy in the big pond or the big lake, river, whatever you want to call it. But realistically, the last 3 months I've gone pretty hard on YouTube, and I'm at the point now where I'm at over 270 subscribers. I have only been focusing on my YouTube channel for 11 and a half months now. So the fact that I'm up to 270 subscribers is quite an accomplishment. Now, some people might laugh and think like, "Ooh, that's it." But if you look at a lot of these guys who are really successful, you look at Mr. Beast. I'm not trying to be Mr. Beast, but Mr. Beast has 112 million, I think, subscribers right now. I don't think he got up to 270 subs for 3 or 4 years. It actually took him a long time to get there.
Yeah,
So,
I think 270 is pretty good, bro. I mean, like you're not like, it's not like you just, no,
and I'm niche. I'm
it's not
very
like you've been at
niche.
it for 20 years. Like you're like, huh, I started YouTube when it first came out. Now I finally hit 271.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, no. Like,
No, and we have these conversations because we, like you're working at it, and I've seen your from where you began, right? I've seen what you've been doing in the beginning, and I've seen your videos now, and I've seen like they're just popping up, but they're popping up on me. They're creeping up on my YouTube. And what is your like when you do your videos? What is like your niche or your niche, whatever they want to call it, or
so
what are you like? What do you do?
so I do dash cameras, and I
Yeah.
focus on educating customers and consumers on what's going on, educating on the technology and how it works. And the big thing that's kind of been happening and working, I think YouTube is going to be the next big thing. I think they're going to overthrow TikTok. They've gone crazy with YouTube Shorts. So the big thing that that I told Benjamin I want to talk about today, if you are not utilizing YouTube Shorts, you better get in there and start doing it, because that is going to be the big boom. When we're looking at what YouTube is doing, you are going to see the biggest growth in YouTube out of all the social media platforms. They also are going to be adding in, and it already is on some people's pages, a community tab where you can actually have a post. You can start interacting with your audience, which is completely separate from any of your videos of people just commenting. So there'll be separate community pages. The other thing is with YouTube Shorts, you can you can do a 15-second video and use tons of different audio, no copyright protecting. From my understanding, what they're going to be doing is I think they're paying people As of January, if you get a certain amount of subscribers or a certain amount of hits or views on your videos, you're going to get paid. I think it's 45% of whatever the advertising revenue is. 10% is going to go for music rights for anybody who's using copyrighted content. And then I think the other 45% goes to YouTube, if I remember correctly when I was reading it. Now, what Mr. Beast actually made a video about this, saying that these guys are on TikTok that are getting, a couple million views or whatever, or billion views. You're going to get like something like 100 times more the payday being on YouTube Shorts. Now, I'm not doing it in terms of getting the payday. I'm focusing on trying to, get engagement, getting people made aware of my brand, and YouTube Shorts is allowing me to do that. I'll put out a little post of like a dash camera being installed in a little 15-second video, and I get 2, 3, 4,000 views on this little 15-second video. And I'm gaining subscribers to my channel that are learning more about my brand, and they're starting to watch more and more of my videos. So as of like right now, I have a lot of videos. I can't even remember how many I have. I think it's like over 250 videos right now on YouTube. And here's the one thing I just want to bring up. If you go and post something on Instagram and then you're telling somebody, go view my video on Instagram, how much of a pain in the ass is it to find that video and share it, especially if it was 3 or 4 months back? Well, on YouTube, you can set it all up as playlists. So even like on mine, I actually have separate playlists for all my like common questions about dash cameras. I have dash cam installs. I have 77 videos currently right now on there. You can go look at a lot of the popular vehicles and see little 15-second videos of what it looks like. I have a lot of the questions that you want to ask. I have specific dash cams that we carry, a lot of how-to videos. I have a lot of comparison videos. I even have, if you have an electric vehicle, you can go look at videos regarding electric vehicles and how you can install a dash camera in there. So this is the thing. I can make it easy. So somebody can go, hey, I got a Toyota RAV4. Have you ever done a dash camera in there? And I go, oh, okay, sure. And I send them a video. Oh, cool. So you're capable. Awesome. So they're building rapport. It's easy to find. While when you look at all these other social media platforms, it's a pain in the ass to find and to share at that same level as it is on YouTube. Because I don't know, what does YouTube not work on?
Yeah, YouTube opens on everything. It's you can open. It's pretty smooth on the phone. It's pretty smooth on. I don't like getting getting TikTok videos in my Messenger. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't have TikTok on my phone. Like that's here's the thing. That's a distraction. I have two separate phones. I have two devices. I have a work phone I specifically have for just kind of like not being like it just has Facebook Messenger and all that, but like all the distractor ones, like the ones like TikTok, it's on a separate device, and I lollygag on there, but I don't have it installed on my phone, like my personal phone, my work phone, just because I know I'll be like they'll kill you.
I got no Instagram, no TikTok, no what is Twitter?
Yeah.
No
Twitter.
Facebook. I don't have any of that on my phone.
Yeah.
The only thing I have on here is YouTube. Why? Yeah, because I make YouTube Shorts and I put it on YouTube, and I use the YouTube app.
Yeah, the YouTube app's a standard app should be like a standard app on your device. Like it usually that's already pre-installed. Yeah. Sometimes I think they are. It used to be, but Mike. Anyways, everyone uses YouTube. It's like the main video service to have. And then when you subscribe to the channel, like I said, I'm subscribed to you. I watch your videos pop up all the time. You're like, oh, he's got.
Yeah, you got to put out good quality content. And the big thing too is when I started last year, late November, started doing videos, what I did was I was taking blogs off of my website that I already knew was good content, and I was reading them. It looked absolutely terrible because I was like looking down like this and I'm reading it. I'm not even looking at the camera, but like one of those videos right now has over 5,000 views. I think it's 5,900 views right now because it's good information.
Yeah.
So if you have good information and you put it out into YouTube, the people will decide whether it's good content or not.
Yeah,
They don't
yeah.
care whether you're looking down or not. However, when you become more engaged like we are right now, and we're looking into the camera and we're talking, and your confidence starts growing and getting stronger, what ends up happening is you are going to end up getting more people subscribing, more people watching. And like I was telling you off camera, I just put out a video the other day, and it's 3 days in and I got 550 views.
I
And
think
it's
for
a
YouTube
long
that's
form
great.
video.
No, for YouTube, for that's great. It's not like, and you're not, you're not doing it shirtless or anything like that. You're doing it, I'm just saying. You're not like, you're not. I'm not calling those people out, but
I
like,
don't know if I would get that many more likes.
but you're giving information out for a specific group of people that need a certain product, and you're dialing in on that's we call he's dialing in on it, and those people specifically are going to search that information, and if they're looking for dash cams, if they're looking for how to, he's in that little market, and when people look, they're gonna look at him, they're gonna start diving in on him, going into his Instagram, or they're going to start going to his LinkedIn. They're going to go to his website. They'll subscribe to his channel because he's Benjamin's giving great information, and now he becomes the authority. You're the authority in the dash cam industry, and it opens more doors for you to have conversations. I think you're doing an amazing job, bro. I've seen your journey when you first started, in from your podcasts to everything, man. You're and I think a lot of it has to do with the Arte. Arte has definitely pushed you. I think that's something that if you got Andy Frisella, we always got to share the show, right? Share the show. Andy Frisella,
Share the show.
I'm sharing the show. Andy Frisella's show. Andy Frisella, he turned me on to him. I love the guy, dude. He's good information. So, with that, man, anything else you want to say, or what's the big nugget that you'd have advice from if it has to be with entrepreneurship, social media, meshed it all together? Someone said, "Hey, Benjamin, like, what do I need? What's one piece of advice that you have to share?"
Here's the biggest piece of advice I'm going to give you that is honestly the easiest piece of advice I could ever give you. If you're still sitting there going, "Hey, you have it written on the list. I need to do this." Stop thinking about it and take action. That's it. At the end of the day, that is the biggest difference between people who are successful as entrepreneurs and people who aren't. People who are successful take action. I mean, Andy Frisella says it himself too. He goes, "I'm not a super smart guy, not at all." He goes, "But I take action on things that need to be done." Right. And that's the big thing is we're looking at everything and we just keep dragging our feet. Oh, I'm thinking about doing that someday. Like I'm not, early on as an entrepreneur, if you're getting into this to be rich, you're getting into it for the wrong reasons, right? The whole point is to serve people and have a why of what you want to do with your business. What is your why? What do you plan to do? What is your purpose? What is your mission? And if you're just focused on, "I'm going to do this to get rich," because you see all these insta famous people on Instagram that are driving around with their fake Ferrari and, pretending they're rich, it's not real. None of that's real. I'm 2.5 years in. I'm not paying myself a lot of money. I'm paying myself enough to put food on the table. I'm paying myself enough money to pay the bills. That's it. I'm not paying myself to go on fancy vacations or anything like that. I mean, that is all part of being an entrepreneur at the beginning. Is you make a lot of sacrifices and you invest a lot of money into the business. Like I recently just hired a professional search engine optimization company because I couldn't take my business any further the way of where it was currently. I hit a point or a plateau where I just couldn't do any more with that. So then you got to start hiring professionals to bring it to that next level. And the other thing is, you're going to get screwed. You're going to get screwed multiple times as an entrepreneur. You're going to take risks on people that you thought were going to help you out. You're going to take risks on people that you thought would take care of you. You're going to take risks on people you thought you could trust. And guess what? You're going to get taken advantage of. In the last year, I've lost $5,000 American on people I invested in that I thought I could trust. The prior year, Like I lost $20,000 on people I thought I could trust. Guess what? As an entrepreneur, as you get more and more smarter, you're going to know who to filter out and who not to trust. Because so far this fiscal year, I haven't trusted anybody that has screwed me over yet. Everyone has come through. And guess what? That's all part of the game. You are going to get screwed. You are going to get taken advantage of. And that's all part of learning. Right?
Part of life, man. That's life every day. And nobody, um, it happens. It doesn't, it happens in business, happens with people. Um, and the goal really is to find people that are going to work with you and be a good fit, like you said earlier. You got to find the right fits in your life. Hey man, I appreciate your time, bro. I love these conversations. We got to do them again. I think we got to. I wanted to make next time. I wanted to talk about the like what's your next steps and what do you like? Oh, I know you spoke about like your plateaus, right? Like those little things where you're like, you need this. It's like a small little piece in the puzzle that you can't work it in anymore. And then like now you have to hire someone. Now you have to get this person to get you to that, because it's a small piece it's a small piece of the puzzle, but it's gonna make everything else fit. I'd love to have a conversation about that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And honestly, that stuff there, the big thing is that if you don't hire someone and you keep doing it, how are you ever going to grow as a company?
Yeah.
How are you ever going to replace yourself if you're not? Because that's the same thing as like, I think as an entrepreneur, you need to start learning all these things. Don't hire out right at the beginning, because that's where I went wrong. And that's how I got taken advantage of early on in my business. Learn that stuff yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it may be hard, it may be time consuming, but if you learn it, then when you go and hire people for any of that, it's a lot easier to hold them accountable when you know what you're talking about. And when I hired this search engine optimization company recently, I mean, they redid my website. We did a new launch. And I was like, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? Why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? And they're like, oh, and then they were able to answer me, but they're just not used to people having that kind of knowledge in their field.
Sure.
Right. So that's why it's good to be educated. Otherwise you get taken advantage of. People go, oh, it's an extra $5,000 for that. And I had someone tell me it was over an extra $1,000 to do something that took me 30 minutes to do.
Oh, dude, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, man.
It's called the add-ons.
The add-ons.
The add-ons. And you're like,
the bend over and here's some Vaseline.
They wrap it up with some tape. Little screw on is 20. They're gonna charge you 50.
Oh yeah, man.
All right, man. I appreciate your time, bro. Have a good day. Anyway, you guys, make sure you guys connect with Benjamin DelGrosso on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, especially YouTube.
BenjaminDelGrosso.com.
Safe Drive Solutions. All right, my friend. We'll talk to you later.
Hey, thanks.